It's a very dark jungle to navigate. It is very easy to fall off.
It sounds like you've had a fairly common issue there, which I've had with other clients, where they've had companies that have perhaps played on customers' naivety or inexperience or lack of knowledge, for a better word.
Yep. My own company being Allbreeds Dog Training.
Yeah, right.
25 years ago now.
25 years. And I guess probably just a curiosity question. How many times have you been bitten?
In the early days, used to get bitten a bit. You slowly get to read the very subtle signs of a building aggressive act. So, a few nips, a few bites, a couple of hard bites, but nothing that required more than just a few stitches and a couple of hours off the road and then back to work.
Oh, it looks like you still got all your fingers, so you're still going okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And so then that transitioned into the Allbreeds that we know today, which you've obviously got a fairly large property there. You've got kennels, people can have boarding there, and you've got obviously a facility for training dogs.
Yes.
And so how did that then, you've transitioned from this mobile bar thing, a little bit of dog training to them being quite a large concern that it is today?
Yes. So in 2000, I started off basically with a paper diary, a mobile phone and a car, and used to go to dog beaches, dog parks and people's homes. And it was starting to become obvious that there was a better way of doing it, and that was for an expert to really set it all up. I use the analogy, let us build the race car. We know how to put it together, and then we'll teach you how to drive it. So let us build the new positive behaviours, and then we'll teach you how to control and handle it and understand it. So I started subleasing a few kennel areas, and would have a few dogs in different south of the river, north of the river premises. And then my late wife and I, back in 2005, bought the kennel property, 50 kennel property in Kenwick, Wattle Grove, and then started developing Allbreeds Dog Training, and then unifying in the Canine Boot Camp product, which really describes well. Drop your dog off, let us do the high repetition desensitisation, especially with dogs that need better social skills. We have at the moment, I think, 10 dog training dogs, which are my dogs and my staff's dogs that are all trained to work with these dogs. So that's how it originally started 20 years ago on that property. Sat down and I said, look, Ali, this is what we need to do, and I want to be kept in the loop. I want to understand what's happening, and I want accountability for where we're at and where we're going, and a plan to get there. And PWD has provided that. Yeah, it's a difficult place. When there's the difficult thing that everyone says. It's a Google algorithm. We're not too sure. It keeps changing. So it's a very dark jungle to navigate, and if you don't have the correct guide, it is very easy to fall off the cliff. And we've done it, and that was a scary thing to then take it away from another company and place it in the hands of PWD. The performance standards increased dramatically and continue to do so, and I have a lot of faith in the business and what they've done for us. And as time goes on, my understanding and my staff's understanding of how we're retargeting and our Google ad campaigns and our SEO just grows exponentially, because we're kept in the loop. We're not just told, oh, this is the result. This is the result and why, and this is what we're doing to look at adjusting it, and we're going to do an update in 2 days, 2 weeks, and we're going to let you know where it's at, and we're going to let you know what our strategies are from that point. So to remain well informed whilst being guided through the dark jungle of digital marketing was absolutely essential, and it's very relieving to know that we're given an understanding of what's happening, not just told that's what's happening.
Yeah,
and that's
just a report.
Very important.
At the end
very
of the month.
important.
What's the most important from a customer's point of view? If you were going to put one ahead of each other, communication or performance, what would piss you off more?
Well, I guess it goes both ways. If performance is running at a very high standard, which is satisfactory or above satisfactory,
but we didn't talk to you.
Yeah, but communication is not that essential if everything's running smoothly. So if really high performance is being achieved and there's nothing we need to question, change or rectify, then the communication side of things is not as important. It's when it switches around where performance is dropping or we're being asked to perform a certain task to support, let's say, for example, SEO, and we're not clear on what we should be doing, and the communication's not there to get the performance back, then that's the issue.
Starts to fall apart.
Yeah, one of the companies, I guess their performance was considerably better than the other, but their communication was terrible. The other one, their communication was really good. Their performance was not there, so it was either one way or the other.
Yes,
Yeah, and the performance, even though with the one that didn't communicate very well but performed well, the performance was still unsatisfactory. It was substandard.
Yeah,
the return on investment just simply wasn't there.
Yeah. I guess what hesitations did you have or obstacles were there before deciding to work with PWD?
Reluctant for the reason that once bitten, twice shy, or twice bitten, shy. So wanted to really check out what was happening and be assured that the problems we'd had before were not going to occur again. And I think it was in our first meeting, you said very openly and very honestly, look, sometimes we're not going to get it right. That's just the way things go.
We're human, yep.
Yeah, but then we're going to find out why and we're going to rectify. And that was an admittance of exactly human errors, circumstances, changing environment, whatever it may be. That was reassuring that you're not saying, oh, there's never going to be a problem, we're just going to get you there and it's all going to be clear sailing.
Yeah, it's all going to
say, look, I'm going to be your guide in the jungle. Sometimes we're going to have to get through some pretty thick stuff and maybe we take the wrong path, but we're going to get back on that right path and we are going to get to our goal, and we've achieved that. As you know, it's always up and down with the SEO. But fortunately, with good management again from PWD of our Google Ads and retargeting, when we're climbing or we're trying to get our numbers back up again, we can always fall back upon that, and the return upon investment is still there. So that's crucial. We've got that with you guys. You can do that for us. You can say, look, SEO, I know it's not great. This is what's happening. This is what we're doing, such as what Lara and Connor have set up, a 6-month plan. We've got key performance indicators. We've got dates to have certain projects completed and up and running. Then the other side of it too is we can say, okay, well, if things are dropping off a little bit, do we push a bit more on our Google Ads? We're going to try something a bit different on our retargeting, which you've done several times and had great results. So that flexibility means we've still got the bookings coming through.
Yeah. I think a big part of your strategy is to not put your eggs in one basket.
Sure.
And so, as you know, your campaign's multifaceted.
Yep.
You've got Google Ads, we've got SEO, both local and organic, and retargeting, as you mentioned.
Sure.
So I think if somebody's in the market for dog training in Perth, they're definitely going to have seen you.
Yep.
And it's just then them whether they want to make a decision and whether they're happy to travel if they're from the north, etc.
Sure.
And I really sort of see a campaign like yours as one with an insurance policy almost.
Yep.
Because you've got this always-on Google Ads campaign and retargeting, which means if SEO has fluctuated or there is an algorithm update, you're kind of insulated from it, right? It doesn't matter as much.
Exactly right.
You're not out in the cold.
No,
so
it is definitely a safety net that's always there and can be
dialed up
or dialed down.
Yep.
So that's,
in case you go to Bali or wherever you did.
Flexibility is the key, but number one is we need the leads coming through, and with that flexibility and with strong SEO, that happens. And understanding a lot more as time passes the SEO difficulties, and you need a team that are crackerjack on it, which you guys have done. To have that safety net is very important for us. Yeah. And one thing that did impress me, especially after, and I didn't want to have to go to the office too much, going to Cebu, Philippines to sit down and talk to someone about it, is we can always sit down and talk to you guys about it. Every time I've asked to schedule a meeting, you've just said, what day suits you? I've got an hour of my, how much time do you want? You've always provided time. You've always given that opportunity for me to sit down and work out. When we've had some times that were, stressful and such forth, we're having some conversations with you where I'm just getting pretty wound up. So, okay, we'll get it sorted out, Tim. You are being a bit hostile.
You were a little fired up. I think
a bit of Rottweiler was coming through. But that's what it's all about. There's a lot of passion in my business. It's something for 25 years that I've worked very hard for. And that, to get back to your point, that's the fear of something I've built from nothing to a very successful business that saves thousands of dogs from being rehomed, euthanized, abandoned. to put that into somebody else's hands is a big risk, and it didn't pay off well before. So I needed some reassurance and performance
faith
to prove it, and
and some faith.
Yeah, and there's trust, but if you've got to see it start to move, and it moved, and it continues to move in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it is a leap of faith choosing an agency, and but from both sides.
Sure.
Like the agency side is, we're trying to measure the customer a little bit. Like, is this a customer that, we're going to want to be in bed with, have a working relationship with? Are they going to respect us, understand what we do, give us time, etc.? And I think conversely for the client, you're going, well, I've been stung twice. Am I going to get done again? Just because you've got a building with your name on it doesn't mean you're going to look after me, right? And we're very conscious of that. So thank you for placing your faith in us and myself.
It was a good decision on my behalf, and that's something I think that's important for people to understand, and it took me a little while to get through, is SEO is a work in progress, and it can take several months to start getting the movement. And it takes a lot of work once you start moving up to stay there. You don't achieve it and turn the page, and that's just the way it's going to be every day, every minute. It's changing, and if you guys aren't tracking what's happening, it'll start falling away, and that's what we saw before. Results were achieved. I've actually, previous to all of that, after or Janice, when she was still working on the website, I was actually dealing with a company in India, as you know of, and we had a look at all the history there. And they were achieving some pretty good results, but Google started not liking my website. My domain started, and you saw it, and we worked on it for a long time to try and clean it up because the strategies they'd used had been outside, I guess, what Google saw as ethical conduct. And by virtue of such, my company was penalised for that company's behaviour.
Yeah, so for context, when we took Allbreeds in, we had a look at the backlink profile that you'd had, and I guess a couple of warning signs went off for me, is that Tim was saying, I used to use this company in India, they did a lot of link building, I used to be right up there, number one, and it coincided with an algorithm update that you had a fairly sharp drop-off, and what transpired is that the link profile that Tim's website had some toxic links in them.
Sure.
They'd essentially done high volume, fairly low quality, somewhat spammy link building, which used to fly prior to that update.
Sure.
After that update kind of got smashed, and as such, visibility had dropped.
Sure.
So we decided to obviously move from allbreeds.biz to allbreeds.au.
Correct.
So we almost started with a new domain and disavowed some of those nasty stuff, tried to get rid of them, and then obviously started building good ones. But it was kind of like starting from scratch, to be quite frank with you.
Well, the corrosion was happening behind the bodywork. I never knew this was happening with that
Well,
company.
silent killer, right?
Yeah.
It's a silent killer, and I think as an owner, you're out there on the ground trying to do what you do day to day, phone calls, booking, staff, busy, stressed, it's hot, you've got dogs, it's... You're in that real world environment, and then lo and behold, something behind the scenes you don't realize is potentially affecting your SEO. So and that's why we did an audit, obviously, before taking you on board. So we knew what we were dealing with, and we kind of put the flag up and went, hey, just to be aware, this is not going to be an easy ride. And it wasn't, but we've turned it around. Yeah,
that's exactly right. You gave us realistic expectations based upon what we were starting with, or what you were starting with when we handed it across to you. And by being made aware of that and the reasons why, then it justified the fact that there was a lot of work required and it was going to take some time, but we got there.
Yeah. So since starting with PWD, and you may not actually be aware, I know the traffic percentage stats, but what's changed? Are there any sort of specific results that you've achieved in your business, from organic visibility, bookings, revenue? It may be something stress, or something innocuous like that. But what results have you personally sort of felt have been achieved?
It definitely, the leads are flowing at a consistent rate. If there are any glitches or performance concerns with regard to the actual website, that seems to be rectified before we're even aware of it, and we're just brought up to date. Hey, look, we've done this, we've done that. It was starting to potentially cause problems, but we got onto it earlier rather than later. stress, the stress side of things when you're being held to ransom and there's starts to become very
Just make sure they're clear.
confronting.
That's not us.
No,
That was
previous. You know, the stress side of that is phenomenal when you're relying upon your Facebook and you're relying upon your website to be your front end to make people aware, to be present in the marketplace. So the reduction in stress, absolutely. PWD is we're about to embark into my new project, Canine Control. That gives me faith to, even though it was started a long time ago back with Crazy Domains, it's immediately just going to be, once we get to that stage of launching it, it'll just be straight into your hands for you guys to manage and to move it into the marketplace to make sure that we have that presence. So all of these things, not only alleviating the problems that we'd encountered in the past that we haven't with you guys, knowing where we stand currently with you guys and having the ability to create a vision that will be fulfilled with the assistance of a company that I have faith in, gives me then that forward confidence to build the new company. So it's not only where we are now, it's where we're going. And you've very openly said to me, hey, look, you know, I don't need to mention names, but there's a company we deal with who does very similar to what I can see where you want to be. And I think we can help look at shaping you up into that. And then when we launch, you've got what I've been working on with my other clients for many, many years now. And we've honed it down to a very specific way of doing it, which has proven to be very successful. So there's track record on my new venture being able to be launched into the e-commerce space.
Yep.
So that all those things are very positive, and it's knowing it's only a phone call away. It doesn't matter whether it's rain, hail or shine, you're onto it.
So Tim, what do you enjoy most about working with PWD on a day-to-day basis?
I have two account managers who also have extremely good tech knowledge, Lara and Connor. They liaise a lot with my manager for my company, and even this morning I was saying to Heidi, my right-hand person, now that we've checked out this new system that we're going to integrate, it's a management system for our bookings, etc.
Yeah,
I said zap off an email to Lara and Connor, give them the passwords because we've paid for the subscription. I've spoken to you in brief about it. Give them the passwords, get them in there, get them to start having a look, let them know that we've test run it now, we're really liking it. We want to integrate our booking form into their system, which they've got a porthole system, which will bring that through. So it's the confidence and also having the sense of trust where without any question, I'll hand across any passwords, anything to do, whether it was, Stripe or, financial issues, whether it's the new software package we're involved in that carries all of our booking data and details. So there's the confidence and the faith and trust that I have in the company, the rapid response, the ability to make contact and for changes to happen instantly. Frequently whilst I'm on the phone, it's like, hang on a second, let me just check on this, No, we've just gone in, we've had a look at it now, we've seen what's happened there, we've addressed those issues. The forward vision, when having a meeting with Connor and Lara before the end of the year, they said, right, well, let's set up some strategies. We're going to do a 6-month forward plan from here. We're going to have objectives for each month. We're going to be analysing every change and movement we make to ensure that it's improving performance.
Which, by the way, because I looked at your year-over-year results and traffic and conversions or events,
sure,
that may not necessarily be a form submission or a phone call because we track a multitude of events.
Yes.
But overall, you're up about 36%, from year over year. So right. 12 months over 12 months.
Yes, yeah,
and, I think because sometimes clients get very fixated on rankings.
Sure.
Obviously, yours is dog trainer or dog training Perth, right?
Sure.
But that's one keyword in an ocean of keywords that you might want to appear on Google for.
Yep.
Which I was, certainly on Monday talking to Harrison, our SEO department, about that very keyword and, what we could potentially do, schema, tweaks, links, etc.
Yes.
And he said, yeah, Ollie, I know, I get it, because you might have seen I'd published 5 blogs for you.
Right.
You might not have realised, but I put up 5 blogs for you Thursday, Friday.
Thank you.
And yeah, your traffic overall and events overall are up 36%, which is huge.
Fantastic.
Right?
Absolutely.
And you can see that translating into inquiries and bookings. You know, it's obviously your job to convert, but we're obviously trying to put you in the driving seat. So,
yeah. I think especially in this environmental climate, everyone I'm speaking to, even people in my industry and such forth, are noticing it's difficult because it's not a necessity to get the dog trained. So that growth within a time period of disposable income being less and less is a double bonus. So those figures are very impressive, and we know it. It's very supportive to the business.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that's cool all today. Thank you, Tim. Really appreciate you coming in and having a chat with us and being open, honest and candid and, you know, speaking your mind.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah, sincerely, everything we've gone through is accurate to my experience with the company. And if it wasn't, I'd let you know.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
You're somebody that is not shy from a strong word.
No. The communication's key. Absolutely.
You're very strong in communication.
Thank you.
Cheers, Tim.
My absolute pleasure. Thanks, Ollie.